That's right, boys. Welcome to the side of the ring for some ringside rumors. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's noted that all parties involved in the backstage brawl after AEW's All Out event were told not to talk about what happened. There is a belief, however, that some want to talk and tell their side of the story when they can. What is that? Their side of the story. These alleged accounts of the All Out brawl from CM Punk and the Elite camps are hilariously one-sided. Okay. Fightful's right above this side. Oh, there's so much. In the Punk Steel version, the Young Bucks went to Punk's locker room after he finished at the presser. He didn't answer when they knocked. Okay. Young Bucks went to Punk's locker room after he finished the presser. He didn't answer when they knocked. As he was wiped out from his match with Jon Moxley during the pay-per-view and the emotional scrum. So Matt and Nick Jackson pounded on the door. Okay. And eventually, quote unquote, this is where the kicked the door down thing came from. Okay. Ace's wife was in the room. According to Wrestling Observer, Mrs. Steele has a broken foot and was watching Punk's dog Larry, who will be a key figure in the other side's account. Okay. Concern for his wife is what set Steele off, reportedly throwing a chair at Nick and biting Kenny Omega. Interestingly, Fightful's right above this side does say that Omega was initially calm until things got out of hand. The entire scene was very long and included a heated verbal exchange even after the men were physically separated. In the Elite version, the Bucks went to talk to Punk just like he told them to. This is another thing that I heard, just like he told them to. He said some variation of, if you have a problem with me, I'm not hard to find. Yes, he said it in the media scrum, like, come talk to me. They didn't barge in, but as soon as they entered the room, before anyone said a word, Punk threw punches aimed for Matt Jackson's head. Nick tried to intervene, which is when Steele threw the chair at him. Okay, see, I wasn't sure if Ace threw the chair at Kenny or Ace threw the chair at one of the Bucks. So he threw a chair at one of the Bucks, and then he bit Kenny. Threw a chair at him, hitting the younger Buck in the head. Omega is also calm in this account and was said to primarily be worried about Larry, yes, which is why he went over to him, who was agitated and barking. Kenny took Punk's dog out of the room and tried to get Steele off of Nick, which is when Ace pulled his hair and bit him. This telling of events agrees that the war of words continued after the violence ended, but claims Punk repeatedly threatened legal action during the shouting portion of the fight. Now, this is a very serious matter, and I don't envy Tony Khan and team figuring it out. The truth will almost certainly end up being somewhere in the middle. Yes. So, okay. What can we take away from this? Kenny was calm until shit hit the fan, and then he was not. Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega, and Ace Steel threw a chair. So the two differing factors are how it started. The two different factors are how it started. Punk and Ace say that they kicked the door in, and that's when this whole shit started. And Kenny and the Young Bucks say, we calmly entered the room, and Punk was the one who attacked us. So one of y'all is lying. One of y'all is telling untruth. Okay? So it doesn't matter who's lying or who's saying what. My dad is, whenever we would get in trouble for lying about stuff when we were younger, my dad would always say, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out eventually. So either y'all can tell me now or I'm going to just find out myself. So if I'm Punk, I probably, Punk, you fucking moron. You're already on the fucking knife's edge, you dummy. Why the fuck would you lie? Lying does not seem like a smart idea right now. That doesn't make any sense. Hey, I went out and made myself look like a dipshit in front of people. I know what I'll do. I'll lie so I look like even more of a dipshit in front of people. That should help me. Because, Punk, it's going to come out. It's going to come out that you lied. Or it's going to come out that you told the truth. I would rather you be on the fucking latter end of that. Of telling the truth. You fucking idiot. Because then if it comes out that you ended up lying about what happened and it turns out that everything was fine and you were the one who instigated it, you're the one who looks like a fucking moron. So maybe make sure that you're going around and fucking telling everybody the truth so you don't look like an idiot once this shit actually does, fizzle out. Next, Ringside News claims Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman have been adamant about refusing to allow WWE to turn the tribal chief character babyface at any point. Well, yeah. It's kind of hard to do that because that's like trying to turn 2009 Randy Orton a babyface after he fucking punt kicked all the heads off of the McMahon family and kissed an unconscious Stephanie McMahon in front of her husband. I don't know how you can make that guy a babyface. I have no idea how you can do that. You can do it now because he's old and, he's calmed down and all he's doing is smoking weed with Matt Riddle, But I don't know how you can do that before. I don't know how you could turn the fucking tribal chief, hey, we the ones and all that, blah, 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 into a babyface. That doesn't really seem like a good idea on anybody's part. Next, speaking of Reigns, Dave Meltzer said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that he was told Reigns' next major match will be on the Saudi show, and it won't be against Rollins or Owens. Oh, no. WDM announces the return to Saudi Arabia. May? Jesus. The fourth crown jewel will take place on Saturday, November 5th in What does that say? Nope, not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay, so it's going to be, okay. Here we go. All right, and we'll begin against Rollins or Owens. All right, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know who's going to be then. It's probably not, I don't know. Next, PW Insider notes Rey and Dominic Mysterio were both in Asheville, North Carolina this past weekend, leading to speculation they may have shot an angle or filmed something at Edge's house because that's where he lives. Okay, that's a bit weird. The only thing I can think of in regards to that would mean that Rey and Edge were doing, or like at their house, and they're playing like fucking Scrabble, and then Dom comes over, and like what, beats them up? What, the Judgment Day come in and they start attacking them? Like, I don't understand. I don't necessarily think that... Okay, anyway. I don't think that has anything... That probably doesn't have it. We'll have to wait and see. Next, on his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, Freddie Prinze Jr. said he was outright told WWE forgot to cut the feed at Clash at the Castle, and we weren't supposed to see Tyson Fury singing in the ring with Drew McIntyre. I wouldn't want to see it anyway, to be fair, but it doesn't matter. Finally, Toxic Attraction appeared on SmackDown this week, but they have not been called up to the main roster, claims Ringside News. Okay, that's weird. But they're up there. Okay. Does it matter then if you're called up to the main roster? If you're going to still be on SmackDown and then you go to NXT and then occasionally you will be on SmackDown again and possibly Raw? Do you have to be called up to the main roster if you're just going to be on SmackDown for like a one-time thing and then maybe you'll show up again? I don't really think you need to be called. I mean, okay, never mind. I understand. You get called up, right? And then you stay there. But then you could just be like Ricochet and just go down there again, like Apollo Crews. Is that getting called down? Called left? I don't know. So is there a called up anymore? I have no idea. I really don't know. That's weird. You can't really be called up to the main roster if Ricochet and Apollo and Mandy Rose are going to NXT, and then Eric and Ivar are going to NXT, but then they're coming back up to SmackDown, and then Toxic Attraction was on NXT, and then they were on SmackDown, and now they're back on NXT. But that just means that they could just go back up to SmackDown or Raw whenever they want to. They don't necessarily have to be called up, quote unquote. So the called up thing doesn't make any sense. It immediately is redundant. There is no called up anymore. There's no such thing. You can get drafted, sure, but if Ricochet is now in NXT and I didn't watch NXT, so maybe I don't know. Maybe that just means Ricochet's just going to stay there. I have no idea. All right, boys, that's going to do it for the rumors. So there's two sides. One, again, Ace is crazy, man. He threw a chair and bit Kenny Omega as Kenny was trying to get Larry out. Punk either... What happened? Punk either is according to Wrestling Observer, Miss Steele has broken foot, reportedly throwing a chair. So, on Punk and Steele's version, Punk didn't fight anybody. Punk fought nobody. The Bucks are the ones who started the whole thing, and that's what set Punk off. But according to the Young Bucks side, Punk was the one who started the whole thing. So again, one of y'all is lying, okay? Ringside News claims Roman Reigns and Heyman do not want Roman to be a babyface. I don't know how he could be. Speaking of Reigns, Meltzer said that his next major match will be at Saudi Arabia and it won't be against Rollins or Owens. So it's probably going to be, I don't know, McIntyre, Cross, Lesnar. It could be anybody. Who knows? Insider notes Rey and Dominic are both in Asheville, North Carolina. And that's where Edge lives. So maybe they're filming an angle. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. On his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, Freddie Prinze Jr. says we weren't supposed to see Tyson and McIntyre singing. We talked about this yesterday, and I'm glad. I wish we didn't see it. Toxic Attraction appeared on SmackDown this week, but they have not been called up to the main roster. But if they're on SmackDown and then they're on NXT, and then they can just be on SmackDown. If they were on SmackDown before and then they're on NXT, what's stopping them? Doesn't matter. Boys, that's going to do it for this episode of Ringside Rumors. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and I will catch you all in the next one.